Can you can please go on mute? I would request everyone else to go on mute. Thank you.
Neha, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, so I turned off the annotation also. Yes, I disabled the annotations also. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Sorry, everyone. So what are the JavaScript interaction we have? The first thing is this whole list is coming from the data. So this is dynamically getting built. Second thing is when I'm clicking here, this particular card is getting updated here on the top right. When I click here, if you will see the URL is not getting changed, the screen is not getting refreshed, only the redirection is happening. So here this total is coming, and if I want to go to the next page, this is also happening. I can come back and the data is still there. One more thing is, if I will again add one more item and go to the cart detail, you can see that cost is also getting updated. If I will remove, the cost is again getting updated. One more thing is, once you added an item, the button is disabled, so I cannot add it again. So these are the few things which we are going to do by JavaScript. Now, the first thing is, I mentioned that this list is dynamically coming. So how you get to know by looking at the HTML page, that this particular list is coming from dynamically or it's hard coded. So the simple thing is, if I will show you one thing, if you will do inspect element, you can see the whole data like LIs and everything. But if you will do view page source, you will only able to see a blank UL. So this is the difference. Because the data is coming runtime dynamically, it is not a hard-coded HTML. Hence, this is blank when you do view page source. But when you are doing inspect element, at that time you are able to see it. So most of the time, when you are doing the debugging, you actually, when you are doing inspect element, only at that time you are able to see all the dynamic things. Now, the second thing is why I'm telling you this. The first thing, obviously, to understand how to know the data is coming dynamically or not, and the second thing is this is what make the difference between uh, server side rendering and client side rendering, also known as the SEO friendly applications and non SEO friendly application. So as long as you have the data hard coded on your page, you are going to have a by default SEO friendly application. But most of the application nowadays, because of React and Vue, we create single page application where everything is coming dynamically by JavaScript. Hence, when we do view source, we don't see anything, and those are not SEO friendly. There are ways to do that, but for you to take away is that if you got a project where your client is saying that you need a application, Sandeep, I will let you know in a while which file you need to open in VS Code. Okay, from GitHub, I will let you know in a while. So, sorry. So the takeaway for you is, if you got a project where you are getting the requirement that the application should be SEO friendly, then you should think that if you are using React, Angular, or Vue, how you are going to address that. Or what you can do is, it's not necessary to use any framework. You can go raw, basically vanilla. You can go ahead and make HTML, CSS, and by doing JavaScript, you can add the functionalities also. So this is what was the takeaway. Okay, so now moving to our work. Uh, I already shared the link with you. You need to go to step 3. Step 3 of CSS1, which you need to download. This one. Okay. So let's start that how we are going to do it. Here is my HTML. I'm going to step 4. I'm just copy pasting whatever we have done last time. And in resources, I have CSS. So this CSS, I will just copy paste. CSS is already here or what? Okay. Yep. Okay. Now let me just see if everything is working fine or not. My CSS is not working here. The reason could be resources style. Resources style CSS. This is fine. Okay. Okay, so this is here. I am opening my JavaScript. Now the first thing is I will be writing that whatever the steps, what all things I want to do. First, let me make the list of it. The first thing I want to do is I want to make product list dynamically. Second, I want to do add to cart. Third, I want to do cart link redirection. What it meant, I will let you know. The fourth, I want to do the redirection to other pages plus back functionality too. Fifth, I want to do the remove item. Sixth, the total cost should come. And add to cart, I should also do the disable item, the one which already we added. So this is what we are going to do. So these are total high level 6 to-dos which we need to do from JavaScript. The first thing is whenever you get any project where you want to write JavaScript or any functionality, try to write down the things that will help you to understand that what all features you want to write. Okay, now in JavaScript, because a lot of folks are here pretty new to JavaScript, so I want to start from the scratch, but not like very basic. I will try to touch wherever I feel that you should know these things. So in JavaScript, whenever you are writing, you probably will be doing a lot of functional based programming. Now in JavaScript, you have different patterns also. So what I mean by patterns, that when you are writing your program, like what we are going to write today, there should be a pattern in that program. So if you are just starting, this is the most of the biggest thing which I have seen, that folks do not follow any design pattern in JavaScript. They just write functions. They feel that okay, functionality is achieved, so now what? If you are starting your JavaScript, it's good, but once you are done with the functionality, please revisit your code and look at which kind of design pattern I can implement in that the way the moment you will implement a design pattern, you will see that the level of your programming is already took one step ahead. So the first thing is this. Now if you are again, if you are a beginner and you are thinking that from where should I start learning JavaScript, not from where, but what should I learn in JavaScript. So you need to start understanding data types, then you need to understand the scopes of the variables. The third thing you need to understand is functions. Functions would be here. Fourth thing is conditions. Fifth, once you are done with these, actually data types, scope of variables, functions, conditions, You should spend time in building something. Build something. Without building something, you won't be able to get your hands on. And then before moving to advanced, I would request you to spend good time on understanding object, arrays, string, and numbers. These are data types where you will be basically these three are the top one that your day-to-day programming with JavaScript, you will deal with them. So it's very important to understand their methods, their properties, how you will search data in that, how will you add, how will you remove. These things you should know. You should be very comfortable with these. And once you are done with this, then you can move to the advanced. In advanced, basically you come with async data. So like you doing the API calls, these things. And after that, you will be able to see your path by yourself. This is how you should do it. The most important is this fifth point. Unless and until you will not build something, you will not get the confidence, and you will keep asking that from where should I do, from where should I get the confidence and all. Please try to spend time on these things. And also in JavaScript nowadays, a lot of changes are coming. Like we are working on ES6, now the new ES 2020, new features are coming. So like a lot of things are coming that should not stop your learning. It doesn't mean that you are starting, so you need to know everything end to end. Everything is there coming for a reason, but you should not stop your learning. So do not wait that ES 2020 is coming and I already didn't know before that. It's not like that. Please go ahead and start learning. Okay, so I will spend some time in on functions because I will be keep switching between ES6 and pre-ES6. Okay, so the first thing is whenever you write a function in JavaScript, this is the syntax: get data. This is the normal way of writing the function. The next way of doing it, this is how you declare the variables in JavaScript. Get data function, and this is known as the variable function. Okay, and with ES6 we have const, so I can change var to const also, like this. So any of this is fine. Like I can use const also. And by ES6 you have fat arrow function. So if I have to define this, what I will do is, instead of writing function, I will just write these circle parentheses. I will use this equals to and this greater than sign, and this is. So now if you are going to the JavaScript world, you will see most of the people are using this kind of syntax. So this is nothing, this is a function, but we call it fat function, fat arrow function. So now to understand the difference, one more thing is, if you start with this, there is no harm, you can do it. Do not try. It's good if you will start coding with this, but if you are just a learner and you are not able to get your head around it, it's fine. You can go ahead with line number 29, sorry, and start writing your functions. What is the difference between all these three? I would say that go back and learn it. I will give you one difference between this main function and variable function. There is a concept of hoisting in JavaScript. So what will happen if I have written a function and I am calling get data here. So on line number 21, I am calling get data. Let me just remove everything else as of now. Now what will happen when your function your JavaScript will run? Whatever I have written in it, it will get executed irrespective of. On line number 21, I am calling the function first and then declaring the function. But if I will change it with this, now it will give you an error. The error would be that this is not defined. The reason is this is a variable and variable don't get the priority in JavaScript when they are running. So what will happen when on line number 21, our JavaScript engine or browser will come, it will say, oh, there is no get data. So it will just throw you the error. So that's why most of the folks you will see, they will do like function get data to avoid hosting. What is the best way to do it? It depends upon, first of all, you as a developer, when you are writing the code, the context where you want to use it. So you need to take care. But if you are using this variable function, you need to take care that you are not calling any function before its definition. You need to call after it. And having said that, which means that in JavaScript, there are a lot of concepts which you as a developer should know. These things you can get anywhere, but then there are concepts. Like I told you, hoisting concept. Hoisting concept means there are few things in JavaScript which get priority and they will just hoist to the top. So this is you need to understand. So similarly, I will keep telling you that this is a concept in JavaScript which you should know. Ayush is asking what is let. So before ES6, we only used to have var as a way of declaring the variables. So in JavaScript, if I want to declare name, so I will declare like I will declare like Progate. And if you will see, I haven't written string, number, or anything. JavaScript already, by itself will understand based on the value I put it here that name is a string or a number. So if I will go ahead and I will just change it to 12, name automatically will take it as a number. So we don't need to define it. Now, ES6, before ES6, this is the only way of using var keyword. But in ES6, we got let and const. So what these two do is, so if I will change it to let, so let is for the block level scope. Block level scope means that this is my function, for example, ABC, and I can just write let here, and the scope will remain here only like this. So it will give you the block level scope. Before ES6, there was no block level scope. And with const, the thing is, in JavaScript, we used to save a lot of APIs key, a lot of information which we don't want it to change. For example, the simple example I can think of, the value of pi, which is so that the value of pi will never change, or the rate of interest. For example, if you are creating a banking application where you are saying the rate of interest is 10, for example, and you know that it will not change. So generally what people used to do is they used to write it like this, uppercase. So they used to assume that the fellow developers will understand that it is in uppercase, it means it should not change. But you never know, by accident, because of a human error, it could get changed and the whole program will be spoiled. So JavaScript ES6, we got const. Const means that you cannot reassign the value again. So if in future, if a developer will come and that developer will try to do this, the program by itself will start giving the error. So these are the var, let, and const. Ayush, do we need to initialize const value at the time of declaration? Yes, you need to, otherwise it would be a blank. Like, are you saying like this? Or are you saying like this? If you will not write const or let, it will automatically become var. And var are the global variables, which means that they will go into the global scope. The second thing you need to understand in JavaScript is scope. Because in JavaScript, as compared to other programming language, in other programming language, you yourself can take care of the functions, variables which are not in use. You can clean them. In JavaScript, there is no such way. So you need to make sure that your global scope is not getting polluted. So you need to reduce your global scoping declarations there. Okay, cool. Let's move ahead. So these were the 2-3 things I wanted to first make you understand, and then we can move ahead. Okay, so when I start doing the JavaScript, what I do is I start with const, and my, let me just first write and then I will show you what I'm doing. Okay, let me do one thing. So here what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a pattern for you guys, for everyone to understand. Give me one thing, 1 minute. Let me think how should I make you understand this. Okay. Let me start with this. Then I will do the refactoring. Okay, so when you are doing a function like this function will not run unless and until you will not call it. So whenever you want a function to run, you need to call it like this. Otherwise, it will not run. So now what I will do is I will change something here. So I just remove this function thing. I went here and I did this. So what is this now? So first of all, this function doesn't have any name. So this become a nameless function, you can say. And the other thing what I'm doing is I'm doing this. So because this function don't have any name, what I'm doing is I'm calling it here and I'm wrapping it here on it. This is very important to understand. So take 5 minutes to understand what is happening. I'm making a nameless function and then I'm wrapping it in brackets. Why I'm doing it? The reason I'm doing it is whatever the code I want to write, I want to wrap it in a container kind of thing. This is the concept of patterns. So that's why I'm telling you. Now it's wrapped, but how will I make sure that it is getting run? Because now I don't have the name of the function. Otherwise, I would have called it with the whatever the name of the function like this. So what I'm doing is I'm just calling these blank brackets here. Now what it will do is the moment the script will load, it will run this function by itself. So this is called as IFI, immediately invoking function execution. This is, I think this is the immediately invoking function execution. Yeah, this is the full form of this. So this is what we are doing. This is one of the interview questions. Folks will ask you that what is IFI, why it is necessary. The necessary is because when you are writing the script like what we are going to write, you don't want to give a name to that, and you want the moment your browser is getting load, whatever the scripts you have written, it should run. So this is what it is. If you will see, a lot of programmers are following this pattern. So that's why it's important for you to know. Okay. So what I will do is I will just start writing the code function by function. And at the end, I'm going to wrap it or move everything to a pattern. As of now, I will just go function by function so that everyone can understand. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do the get data. Get data for what? I want to create the list. So instead of get the data, we can say create HTML. This is our first task here. Product list dynamically. Create HTML. Now for create HTML, I need first the data. So what I will do is I will create my own data as of now, and later on we will move it to some API. So what I will do is I will create a product list, and in product list, what I want a name. I want a name. Name would be mango ice cream. I want image. I will just copy paste the image name, and I want price 100. So let me go to my HTML. Here is the image name. I will just copy it here. Now I will just copy paste it like this. And I will change this so that we know what is coming. Okay. Now let me just comment this out. Let's go to the browser. It should be blank now. Yep, this is what we wanted. So now my product data is here. Now what is the next thing I will do? So the next thing, this is my way of programming. But when you are doing the JavaScript vanilla one, it's you need to see that how what is your way of doing the programming. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to call this data and I want to create it dynamically. I want to create the whole LIUL dynamically. So what I will do is I will take this here. I will do map. So map is the ES6 way of doing the loop. If you want, you can do the loop also, but it depends upon you. I would say that please follow the ES6. That would be the best. Now key value. Again, this is the fat arrow function, and I need to return something out of it. Now, this is the ES6 syntax of string literals. So if I will not follow this, the old way of doing is I need to do like uh, plus thing. So I need to do something like this. Li is here, then I need to plus, and then some information like this, which is a very messy way, and you need to handle a lot of things. So this is the most easiest way of doing it. So I would suggest you just follow this. Now what I want from here is I want this li. So I will just copy here. This image will come dynamically from data. This name will come dynamically from data. This is also going to come dynamically. So what I will do is I will just move everything here. And now let's see that how we can access all the information. So what I will do is instead of key, we can have, sorry, this is what I did, the wrong thing. This is key. So what will happen in the product list, the mapping is happening. So it will pick each object, and in the item, this object will come. Now what I will do is in the item, I will go like this, and I want name to be here. So item dot name. Here I need to write like a span. Let me add a tag here, and price will come here. Where's the image tag? I bet. Item dot image, and in the alt we will have item dot name. Okay, so this is how I am creating. You create the dynamic HTML in JavaScript. The whole HTML tag will remain as it is. Wherever you need the dynamic information, this is how you access it. Because it's an object, it's an array object data. This is array, and these are the objects. These, how I know this is an array, because square bracket represent array and the curly bracket represent object. So this is how I know it. This is array and object. And in the item, each object is coming. When I'm looping on that, and I want to access the information, I will access like item.name, item.image, item.price. So this is how, and this is not just in this case, wherever your object is in JavaScript, this is how you do it. By the dot, you access the information. Okay, now the next thing what I did is, I did use the ES6 string literals, this backticks. These backticks are the key on the top left is your backtick. You use that, and with string literals, wherever you want to put your dynamic information, you use $sign and bracket. So this is how you do it. Now the thing is, we have the list, but now there are two things. First thing is, how should we call this function, and second, how should we make it link with or interactive with our HTML page. So now what we have to do, the next thing is we need to access this particular UL, because here we want the whole list to be. So what we can do, the first thing what I will do is I will add here product container. This is an ID I am adding. And now in JavaScript, there are 3 to 5 way of accessing your HTML tags. The first way is document.get element by ID. The second is document.get elements by class name. Then you have document.get elements by tag name. Then next is query document.get query selector and query selector and document.query selector all. So let's see what are the difference between these. Are the 5 ways through which you can call the HTML tags, or you can you can just take the reference of your HTML elements in JavaScript. So get element by ID, you just give the ID name here, like I just created product container, and it will return you. The thing here is on every page there should be one unique ID, which means that only one item will be given to you as a return. Here we have get elements by class name, which means that if I have the class like product, then it will give me all the possible matching cases of the product. So if I have used 5 places I have used classes, then it will give me the reference of those 5 elements, and it will return me an array like object. That's why we have S here. It is returning me more than one value. And why it does make difference? It makes difference because if you are getting more than one value, and if you want to take some action on particular place, then it means you need to loop over that or do something to get the access of that particular place. That's why most of the folks prefer adding ID, because ID is unique, and the moment you are referring ID, you will get that particular place. Now get elements by tag name means that you are putting the HTML tags directly here. So like H1. The moment I will do H1, all the places where I have used H1 will come here. Again, this is an array-like object. Elements is coming, so it's not one result. You will get more than one result. The easiest one to remember is query selector, I would say, because if you will see, we are not using the this ID sign pound here or dot here, but in query selector, what it says is that you can call anything. So I can say product container ID, I can even say class, or I can even say tag. So anything I can pass in it. It seems like that this is very simple, but the problem in query selector is that it will only return you the first matching result. So for example, if on your page you have 5 places where your H1 is, but it will only return you the first matching case. And with query selector all, you will get all the match result. Now, which one to use? Generally, you will see that folks are using this. The reason is these are, I think, I'm not sure, but what I remember are these are always being in JavaScript. So that's why people are very much comfortable with this, first thing. And second thing, performance-wise, these are faster than query selector. So that's why this is also one of the reasons. Which one you should use? I would say that if you are starting, try to play with both. And when you see that whichever is making sense, you can use. But what I do is I generally stick to these. But if sometime I just want to quickly do some programming or just do a prototyping something, so I just cheat and I start using query selector and all. So it depends upon you. Okay. So now why we talked about it? We talked about it because now we want to get UL and put this LIs back there. So now what we will do? Now one more thing, if you have seen, I have to write document again and again. So what I always do is, because I come from JavaScript jQuery background, So I do like this. So now what is happening in dollar? I am saying the dollar is equal to document. So it is basically now I can use dollar instead of document. So what I will do is const product container. I will say dollar get element by ID. And what was that? That was product container. I will just come here and I will paste it. Okay. Now if I will do console log, which you will see that in this will come. But right now, if I will run console log, this will not run because I haven't linked the script file. So the next thing I need to do is script source. Okay. So here, so this is how it will be. Okay. Let's see if it will work or not. Let me open my console. So this is not working. The reason is why it is not working. The first thing is the my script tag is on the top, and when it first of all there is an error also. This is not getting closed, I guess. No, it should not be like this. It should be self-closing. Script source equals to. Okay, let me do this. Okay. Now it should not give you console. So if you will see, the console is not coming. In fact, it is coming null here. Now if I will just move this to the bottom before body and I will do refresh, see it is coming. So what is happening here, just to explain you, let me just do a undo thing. Okay, so for this, what is happening here, you need to understand that how your web page get run on the browser. So your HTML page goes line by line. So this is how: first doc type, head, title, then CSS, then the request will go, CSS will come, and then the script request will go, and it will start executing. So when the request came here, the script JS started running. Nothing. And here it came, and it came to line number 67, where it is saying console log product container. It will go back to 66 line that, okay, it is saying that get me element by ID of product container. So it will go back and it will see that where is this product container. But as of now, the rest of the page is not got interpreted by the browser, hence it gave us none. So this is the problem, that the rest of the document loading has not been done. That's why it is not able to interpret the UL. The moment I put it at the bottom, where my whole HTML got loaded, and it is able to get it. So this also happened in JavaScript, that the way it is getting load, you need to understand. If you are putting it on the top and you are doing a lot of DOM manipulation, it will give you the errors like this. So you need to understand that how you should load your website, JavaScript. Now if I will do one change here, I will do defer, I add this keyword, and I will do refresh. See, this is able to get it. So in JavaScript, you have 3 different ways to load your JavaScript. They are basically these 3. One I already showed you, this is the second. And then you have async also. So what you can do is, there is no harm, there is no bad thing if you are just declaring your application, moving your JavaScript at the bottom. This is the correct way. But if there is some dependency where you cannot move your JavaScript at the bottom, then you can put defer there, or and async has altogether different use case. So you need to read about that. So I am adding it here so that you can refer it back. Now, just to give you a quick recap that what we did, we just did 2 things as of now. We created our dummy data, then we created we mapped over that data, we created our li through JavaScript, and now we want it to put it back on our UL. So now how we can put it back on our UL? The first question comes to this. So in JavaScript, when you want to add anything back to your HTML, there is inner HTML. So what it is saying in the inner HTML of UL, please put this product list here. No, not like this. I have to put it here in a variable also. Const HTML data. So it will come here. Now what I have done is, whatever is getting written from here, let me do undo. Whatever the content is getting written from here, I am assigning it in a variable, and in that variable I am now putting back in the inner HTML of UL. So let's go back, let's refresh. This is not working. Why this is not working? Let's see what is. So we have to do. Let me see if something. Just a sec. Okay. Okay, it is not even giving me the data here. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I didn't call it. My bad. It will run now. Yep. So now this is coming, and this is the whole data which actually I did console on line number 79. That is printing on the console. If I will remove it. So this is your data is coming. Okay, so the first task is done, that the products list should come dynamically. Again, I just want you to understand that what are the things we are doing. We are creating the dummy data, we are doing map over that, we are using ES6 string literals, and this is the inner HTML, which is a JavaScript way of putting back the data back in the HTML tags. There are different ways you want to do. Here the UL was blank and I wanted to put the whole data there. But sometimes you will face some scenarios where you want the data to be appended at the end or appended at the starting. So these such methods are also available in JavaScript. From where you can get the information, you can go to MDN documents or you can go to W3 schools. Both are available. You can just go there and read about it. Okay, so the next thing is add to cart. Now, when we want to do add to cart, this is known as the event. Events basically whenever you are doing any interaction, click, double click, hover, mouse over, mouse out. There are so many events available in JavaScript. Do we need to learn each and every event? Yes and no. Yes, you don't need to learn basically all, but you need to learn the name, the name spacing, not name spacing, the syntax of the common used events. When I say syntax, syntax means click, hover, mouse over, mouse out, these. Because nowadays we work a lot on React, Angular, and Vue. They have their own way of writing the events, and we get confused. So that's why you should know, if you are writing a vanilla JS, then how you should write that. Most of the time, not just me, I have seen a lot of developers get confused when they are going back to the vanilla JavaScript. Oh, it's on click, or it's a click, it's a mouse over, or it's hover. So that's why. No, you don't need to learn every event. You just know that, okay, this event is there or not. For example, double click is there, which is not commonly used. So yes, you need to do a Google for that, and you need to take the help of MDN or W3 school to understand how to write double click event, which is absolutely fine. So do not stress yourself. Okay, now let's move and see that how we will do the event. So again, I'm creating the one function, and I'm saying add item. Okay. So what I want to do is, I want whenever on the button the click is happening, the button should, that particular thing should get added. So what I can do is, instead of targeting every button, I can use concept event delegation. So what I'm doing is window dot add event listener. So if even if I will not do windows here, let me start like this, sorry. And I will say click is the event, and this is okay. So let's see what I am doing here. Let me do button equals to get element by ID, and I am saying button. Though I told you that the ID is unique, but just to show you that what I am doing here, I am just adding this common ID. This is a wrong way, so please do not think that this is how you should do it. And what I am doing is on button add event listener, click event and console.log click. Let us see. Button is null. Yeah, button will be null. See, so what is happening here? Few things. The first thing is whatever the element you want to add the event, you need to use this keyword add event listener. This is the JavaScript keyword, and the syntax is whatever the event. Click on mouse over or mouse out. Any event will come here. As of now, I want click. So click I have written. This is E basically whatever the event you are doing. I'm doing click, so that particular thing is going here. This is very important. You can write E or you can write event. It's up to you. I generally use E. And the reason why it is important, I will show you as we will move along. Okay, now the second thing is, if you have noticed, when I put it this here, it gives me an error. Um, it gives me an error that type error button is null. The reason was because again, when your browser is reading your JavaScript line by line, when it came to line number 68, till then there is no button on the page, because button is getting generated when this particular function is getting called. So that's why that error was coming. So I removed that and I moved it here. So when this function is calling, and then at that time the button reference should come. The second thing which I did is I called this function here rather than here. The reason is uh, add item will happen only when your this list is here. So once your list is ready, then any event will start happening. So that's why I moved that to this particular function. This is very important to understand that when you are calling which function. The reason is otherwise you will be again polluting your global scope, or the performance issues would be coming. So that's why it's important to understand. And the second thing is, if you want to remove any event, which you will be rarely doing, but all you need to use is remove event listener. So this is the event thing. Now, let's, I told you that I am using ID here, but if you will see that we can add the class. So let's see if I will add the class, then how we can access it. So I wrote button here as a class. Now this would be elements by class name. Now let's see what it will return us. Oh, sorry, I did a mistake. It will be elements by class name. Now let's see what we will get. Console.log button. So see, we are getting this here. This is a HTML collection. So I told you that you will get an array-like kind of thing. When I say array kind of thing, which means that in JavaScript, many times you will get the data like with what you are seeing right now. You feel that, oh, it's an object, oh, it's an array, but they are not. they just give you only few methods with them. Like here we are getting, sorry, property. Here we are only getting the length. But after that, if you will try to do any operation of array or object, it will not work on it. You need to convert it to actual array or object. This is important to understand because obviously if you will write your whole logic and by assuming that this is going to be an array or an object, it will not work. Okay, so because now we are getting a array like kind of thing, now what we will do, we cannot do this because here what I am saying is only one element. So if I will try to run this code, it should give me an error. So let me just click, see, nothing is happening because this is a wrong code. So what I will do now, I want to add this event to every button, and I am getting button here. So what I will do is for let I equals to 0, I is less than button dot length, the only property we were getting, I plus plus, and then what I will do is I will move this here. Instead of button, now I will write I. Okay. Now let's see what is happening here, if it's working or not. Let me see. Okay, one more thing I didn't did is e dot prevent default. This function I'm calling this. Okay, this is not working. Why it is not working? Let's see. Button is here.
For it's written I greater than button dot length.
I is greater than button dot length. This is what it is.
It should be I less than. Na?
I less than. Yep, sorry. Okay, so what is happening here? Let's see. Okay, one more thing I want to check. This is a button, right? So submit will be happening. Okay. Okay, now what few things I did here is because it was returning me a array kind of thing, I looped over every item, and on every item I added my event listener tag, and then I'm doing the particular console. One thing that I added e dot prevent default. So what happened is when you are handling the events interaction through JavaScript, the few like button or a tag, these are the two elements which are kind of have their own default behavior. So like button, if you have written button type submit, for example in HTML, and when you add your JavaScript event handling from here, what it will do is it will try to submit also. So to stop that default behavior of button or a tag, what we do is we do e dot prevent default. So this is why it is important. As of now, I haven't put any type submit, but the good practice is always whenever you are handling your such elements, please try to put prevent default there because in the future what kind of change developer will do. One more thing is we always do programming in a very positive way, like I am doing here. So I am assuming that there would be the length in the button, but the good thing is to handle the edge cases also. So you can do that. This will only and only execute when there is length. Otherwise, it should not execute. So the good way of doing programming is that also. Let's start thinking about the edge cases also. Okay. So this is how you do the event handling. Now, another thing. This is the one way of doing it. Another thing what I can do is if I will show you e dot target. It will, sorry, e dot target. Let's see what it comes because this e is very important. This particular event, it gives you a lot of information. So when you are doing e dot target, it is giving you the information. It is giving you that element where you are interacting right now. So it will give you like this. So that's why it's very important to have this e event thing there. Now, because we getting the information that which element I am right now clicking, I can modify this code to another approach also. So in JavaScript, the good thing is to achieve one particular coding way. You can one to achieve one particular task. You can do the coding in different approaches. So as of now, I have just targeted the button. What I can do also, I can do window dot add event listener, click uh, E this, and now what I will do is I will check that if E dot target dot local name equals to button, then only do something. And why this is important to do is why people prefer this. I also prefer this way of doing is because I don't know that in future where I have to add this event handling. So what I do is I actually try to play with the target names. So in future, if I want to add this particular event handling thing on a tag, then I can do like this and I can handle everything. So this is also one of the way from where it is get inspired. So if you are creating your own way of making a event handler kind of utility, so you can do that. Generally, I do like this. I moved all I do the event delegation and I check that which element I want particular event to be. Again, it depends upon you which way you want to go, and most of the time you will see a use case where you want to use which one. So that's why. Okay, so let's go back here. Now this, okay, so add to cart. Now we want to add the particular item to the cart. So what we should do and how we should do it. So the first thing is I want, okay, because a lot of folks are new here, let me just delete first this, let's clean our HTML. If you will see that this is 0 by default. So, and this is not even a tag. And the page which I showed you in that the moment element is getting added, it get converts to the link. So there are two things is happening. First thing is the cart number is getting updated. Second thing is that it is getting converted to a link. And also third thing is also there, sorry, that whichever item I'm clicking, that is getting disabled. So let's start one by one. So let's do one thing. What we will do is first we will do the disable thing. So we know that whichever element I'm clicking, I can get in e dot target. Now how to do disable thing? So again, a small theory session for the same. So in JavaScript, you have get attribute, you have set attribute, you have has attribute. So get attribute is in HTML, whatever the attributes you are passing, like alt tags, like title tags, all these things you can access from get attribute. The syntax is simple. You need to just write like this and it will give you. Now, if you want to set the value of some attribute, then you have set attribute. All you need to do is again that particular attribute and its value. And the third thing is has attribute. It will give you a Boolean result that that particular attribute is available or not. And if you will see in HTML5, there is a new property came data hyphen, and that actually changed a lot of game because in HTML by default there are very few attributes, but data hyphen gave the power to developers like us that we can define our own attributes. So now I can write that data type equals to something, and I can go in my set attributes and I can say that data type should be anything like red or anything. So these attributes, these three way of attributes playing is important. Why? You will see now when we are doing the coding. Let me just comment it. Let's come back here. So what we will do here now is we will set the attribute of e.target wherever on whichever element I am clicking, the set the attribute of that disable to true. In HTML, you have this attribute disable. So what it will do is it will disable that particular button. So if I will go here and I will check C, disable true. As of now, you are not able to see any UI change because we haven't written any CSS on that. What we can do is we can just go back and write button disabled background CSS. So if I will go back, I will add disabled. It is not taking. It's an error, I guess. So now you can see this is disabled. I cannot add anything. So this is the first thing. This is another thing which we are done with this. Now let's see how we can increase the value of our this counter. So the first thing I need to do is because right now it is in this there is no tag to actually target it directly. So let me see how I can do. Let me move it to this. And what we can do. So what we can do is how we are going to do is we will make a variable which we will keep to the 0, and whenever I am doing any event of clicking, that increment should get increased by 1, and then we will take that value and put it back in on our page. So let me declare the value. It will not be a const because this value will keep changing. So this will be cart count equals to 0. So this is the first use you will see, and also avoid using var, as I already told you. Keep it let or const. Now I can create one more function of this, which I will do. So update cart. The moment I am adding it, it should get plus, and I can console this to here. And again, this is my event handling. Here the click is happening. So what I will do is I will remove this and I will call this here. I will call this function here. It should, the moment I'm clicking, this function should get called. This function should increment it, console it, and then it will disable it to true. Let me go back. Let me see if something like this is happening or not. Add 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is happening. Now what I want to do is I want to keep it, put it back to our HTML page. Plus I want to change it to the link. So how we can do it? This is the next thing which we need to take care. So obviously we need to make it our what do you say? We need to make it the HTML from our JavaScript. So that we need to take care. So let's do one thing. Let's create the HTML here only. So I am saying const part HTML equals to a href equals to hash. I will tell you why I'm using a here and why I'm not using the other button thing. And what I can do here is I can just move this to, sorry, this, I can remove this. Now let's see in our HTML, I don't need, okay, one more thing I can do is I can just remove it from here. No, let's keep it here. And let me give an ID here. We will clean it later. Cart link. Let's first try to do it. Const dot link and get document get element by ID. Yeah. Okay. So what it will do is update cart. It will come here. It will put the value here, and at the end it will put the inner HTML here. Let's see if this is happening or not. As of now, this is 0. The value is not getting updated. Now it's getting it. So there is a delay of 1 click, but rest is fine. This is happening. And now if I will click over this, see, hash is getting added. Now, before fixing this +1 click problem, I want to talk about that why I picked A here instead of button or anything else. For the HTML semantic and for the accessibility, whenever you are doing redirection, you need to use A tag. Here we are going to move to the detailed page. That's why I choose A tag rather than any other tag. That's why. Now, this 1 click issue that it is not able to pick the first click. The reason of that is because we are doing the increment later. So all we need to do is we need to do this. And let's now see. See, now this is working fine. Now the next thing what we want to do is I will clean this in a while. There are questions, I think. Let me first take the questions. Okay. Mohit, there's a comma between each element in the product list when the list is loaded. How do we get rid of that? Okay, Mohit, I need to check. Yeah, okay. Now I can see there's a comma. I will just debug it and I will clean that. So you don't need to worry about that as of now. Oh, ma'am, is this website is responsive? I don't think so. This website is responsive as of now. I even didn't test it. Yep, it's sort of responsive if I can see, because no, this is not. So we are using Flex. So doing responsive with that would be easy. And one more thing, I think I'm not using the tag, the viewport meta tag. So to make your HTML pages adaptive to the screens, you need to use the meta tag for the viewport. I will give you that tag in a while. I don't remember the whole syntax. I always Google and put it back here. So yep. The next is Navneet, how to link HTML to script. How to link HTML to script or how to link script to HTML, Navneet? Navneet, are you there? Navneet, this is how you do it. Line number 95. One more thing I forget to add. In HTML page, you can include your JavaScript 3 ways: external, inline, and on page. This is the external way of doing. External means when we have an external JavaScript file and we are linking it here. If you want on page, all you need to do is just use script tag like this and start writing your JavaScript here. This is how you do it. This is inline, on page. And if you want to write inline JavaScript, then which is not the recommended way, but you can start writing your JavaScript like you do CSS thing on the tag also. If you will see the old code, like very, very old code, they prefer to, write their JavaScript inline, which is not at all recommended way. That's why I'm not showing you. But there are cases when you might need to do on-page script. So that's why I told you that this is how you need to do. Just write the tag and start coding. Okay. Cool. Where we were. Okay. So now when I'm adding this particular thing, I want it to redirect. So what is redirection here? here redirection doesn't mean that the whole page should get refreshed. So when you are handling single page application through JavaScript, there is no refresh. You are just doing hide and show. So this is not getting hide. So let me go and check what is, I think I missed my hidden class on card detail. Yes. So I think the class name was none. Yeah, now it's fine. So now what I want to do is the moment I am adding item and when I click on it, this particular page should, this particular block should get hide and the card detail page should get visible. So we are just doing the hide and show thing and nothing more than that. So now what I need to do is, because we are now hiding and toggling between visibility, we need to first get the reference of these blocks in our JavaScript. So let me go and let me add an ID here. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. We are, as of now, we are trying to achieve all the functionality, and then I will show you that how you can optimize this code in a much more better way. So whenever you are writing the code or starting a project, yes, it's very good to think about, the best way to work, but pre-optimization is also not good. So first try to see, go ahead and start coding, and then you can go back, revisit and see which are the places you can improve your code. So this is my product. This is our detail page. Okay. Now let's come here. So now I need to take care of the redirection. So now you will see that I need, when I'm clicking on this A tag, I need to again write one more event handling thing. So which means I need to write like this redirection. And now I have to do the same thing, that I need to get this element. I need to put a like sort of this cart thing here, ID, and then I will be copying paste this thing, not the whole thing. Basically, I need just this thing here, or this is the cart, and I'm saying whenever I'm clicking here, event prevent default should happen, and my cart detail page should get visible. Now, taking a pause here to make you understand that what is happening. I showed you that window delegation, putting the event listener on the window tag. That is the most important thing right now to recall, because see, I already declared one function here. Now I am declaring another function of event handling, and I don't know in future if I need to add more elements. I need to recreate these functions again and again. But if I would move all my events on the window, and within one function, if I will do the check that on which element the user is clicking, and according to that I handle the logic, that would be a better way to handle the such scenarios. So what I am now trying to tell you, that I already know that that is the correct way of doing the way when I have more than one or two elements where I want to add event handling. So what I will do is, as of now, I will go ahead with that, and then we will move our code to that way. So this is how you do the incremental improvement in your code base. Okay. So redirection, I clicked here, something happened. And let me just see if this is happening or not. Click cart, and where we will be calling this function. We will be calling this function once this link is created, otherwise it will throw us the error. So let me add, it's taking time. Something is, some error is there, I guess. Car add event listener is not a function. Okay, my bad. The cart. This is the cart. This is the cart. Cart. Okay, this is coming. Oh, sorry. This should be ID. By ID. Okay. Why this is not getting updated? Okay, one more typo. Okay, now this is working. If I will click here, nothing is happening. Why nothing is happening? Let's see. Hash is coming. Okay, hash is coming. E don't prevent default. Okay. Why this is not going there? All I have to do is stop propagation also. Let me try one more thing. Again one more typo. Sorry. So it is not coming here. Let me see. Stop propagation. I am not sure if this is the right spelling of this. Let me just check if this is the right spelling. Propagation. Propagation. Okay, let's see. Okay, why this is not coming? Strange. Click is happening. Get element by ID. I added it here. Ish. Gosh. Not a. I need a cup of tea, I guess. Okay. Sorry, these were all the typos. I didn't even need this. So the mistakes I did first was get elements by class name. That when I changed it, I forgot to remove S. And here I didn't. I just wrote the function name, but I didn't call it. So that's it. One more thing, why I use stop propagation. It is also related to the events. But as of now, we are not doing anything related to that. So that's why I'm not getting into that. But there are places where you might need to use this also. Okay, so this is also working. Now the next thing what we need to do is we will add the hidden class on this particular container, and we will remove the none class from the cart. So for that, what we need to do is we need to get the cart detail page, which is here. So instead of even, okay, let me do it later. First, I will do this. And what I need to do is now I want to add and remove the class. So in JavaScript, you can remove or add the classes by using the class list. So there is the class list method available for you. So class list, it will give you all the classes names available on that particular element. And I want to remove, which class I want to remove? I want to remove the none. Sorry, none. So let's see. And let me just close this. See, the moment I remove the none class, this is coming. Let me just show you. The none class is not here. Now, with that, I also want that on the on the product page, that product block, I want product block class list. The class should get added, which is none. So if I will just go back here now, and I will add, and I will click here, see, this is happening. So this is how you do the hide and show. As of now, I'm doing hide and show. But if now the question comes is, can I delete the whole DOM altogether? Yes, you can do. But in this case, you don't want to do it. The reason is, first of all, sorry, first of all, this data is getting created at runtime. And these are the state that vanilla and kiwi ice cream you already added. And when you are going here, though we haven't implemented that functionality as of now, but when I want to move back, I want to see those as disabled. So if I will just keep deleting my DOM every time, I also need to take care of my states and everything. So many times you will see just hide and show makes more sense as compared to the deleting the whole DOM altogether. But if there are use cases where you don't need to maintain anything, you can go ahead and delete it. Okay. Now the same thing we are going to do is here also, back and address. So when I'm clicking on the address link, my address block should get visible and my card details should get hidden. And when I'm doing the back, the same thing should happen. Now you can relate that we are going to handle lot of events here. So that's why moving this whole code to that event delegation does make a lot of sense. So why it does make sense? First, otherwise you need to write a lot of code, a lot of function for every element, first thing. Second thing is, in future, if any element you are adding, you need to put an ID there or a class or something, and then you can get it. Then again, you need to come back to your JavaScript, and again, you need to write the code for that. Instead of, you should see other way of maintaining the code. So your JavaScript should be able to handle whatever the tag, a tag or button tag you are adding in the future. There should only one way, one flag through which you can just identify that, okay, this is the a tag. So now what should I do? That a tag, if that a tag is having redirection as a flag, then only something should happen. Otherwise, nothing should happen. Which means we are going to use data types a lot. What are data types? So for example, not example. So I will add here. This is back. This is next, like this. So now what will happen in future? Now I will move all my events on the windows. And what I will check is if you have clicked on the A and that particular tag is having the attribute back, then particular functionality should work. So now in future, if someone is adding another tag of back, all that developer needs to do is, instead of adding ID here, ID here, and going back to JavaScript and handling this scenario, all that developer needs to do is just copy this particular data attribute, paste here, and our JavaScript will work. So this is how we are going to handle rest of the use cases. Okay, so let's go back to our JavaScript. Let's see what's the next thing we need to take care. So product list is coming dynamically. We are adding to the cart. We are disabling the item also. We are doing the cart link redirection. Before moving to these three, one thing which we need to see here, whatever the element I am adding vanilla and kiwi. But when I'm going here, these are the hard-coded items are coming, which should not be the use case, which should not be the, idle result. Here the vanilla and kiwi should come. And then also the total cost of that particular element. So now we are going to handle this particular thing. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. Okay, so now how we are going to do this? So what we are going to do is through JavaScript we are able to understand that which particular element I am clicking, like mango, vanilla, or this. So what we can do is whichever element I am clicking, I will move that particular element to an array, and then when I am clicking on my cart detail, I will use that array to create my DOM. Now, the problem here is, if you will see, I showed you earlier also, when I'm clicking on this button, all I'm getting is, let me show you by JavaScript, I guess. Here we are clicking. So if I'm doing e.target, so when I'm clicking here, the only information I'm getting is this button where I clicked. See, and there is no way to differentiate that this button is of mango or vanilla or kiwi or apple. So how can I make that new list of purchased items? So what I can do is I can move my information of this name, price on this particular button. So what it means is that I can use the attribute data name, data price, and I will put those information here. And when I'm clicking, I can move those information to a new array, and that would be available. So this is one of the way of doing it. There are other ways also you can think of how I can do it, but let's start with this. That where we will get all the attribute information, name, price, and we will push it into the new array, which means that we need to do few changes. So the first change which we need to do is we need to do this. We need to add here data name. So this will go here. And then data price. Now let's see if this information is coming. I clicked, so now name is coming, price is coming. So both things are coming. Now I know on which element I am clicking. The next thing I want to do is I want to push this information, this name and price to a new array. So what I will do is I will make a blank array first, purchased items. This is my blank array. And now I will go to this. Where is my add thing? Sorry, here, add item. Now we can do two things. We can make a separate altogether function to do this, or as of now, we can put it right here. So I will just remove it from here, and I will say in purchase item, push what they should push. They should push name. Name is e-target. Get attribute. On which attribute we required? We required the data name and price. Okay, e-target, we need price, sorry, price. Now this is our object, so we need instead of doing this, we can just directly push it here, and then we can just console.log here. And let's do one more console here, that if this information is coming or not. Okay, so what I did is I created a blank array. In that I'm pushing this particular object. name and price. So let's go back and let's test it. Okay, mango is coming and the information is going. Now let's see mango vanilla, this is coming. Third, mango vanilla kiwi. So our this array is ready. Now what we need to do is when we are clicking here, our DOM should get created by using this particular array. Okay, so let me just remove it from here and just remove this from here also. This is working fine. So this is our array which we need when we are doing the redirection, and our HTML should get created on our redirection page. Now looking at here, I want to tell you one more thing. I'm also helping you to understand that how you can do the optimization. How you start thinking about optimization when you are doing the programming, so that at the first go you make the functionality to work, and at the second attempt you can think of doing the optimization. So the first way of doing it, that what I will do is I will do a loop here and create my HTML straightforward from here. Now the thing is, there is no difference in the HTML of my home page and my cart detail. So this same HTML is going to get used when I'm creating the cart detail page. So again, if I will repeat the same code in another function, that is not the right way to do it. So we need to start thinking that how we can, reuse this function again. So that is also one of the optimization thing which we are going to take care. So first let's do is, we will just go here. Let me just copy paste this thing. I want to make it work in first go. So what I will do is I will just copy paste here, copy from here, and I will paste this thing here. Now purchase item is my array on which the mapping is happening. It is giving me image is not, I'm not taking the image name as of now. So I am just removing it as of now. Name is there, price is there, and I don't think so I need these things. Let's keep it. The only thing which is getting changes, I want to add remove here. So this is the only change is getting here. And instead of product container, now this will be, I need to check in here what we have. We don't have anything. So what I can do is, I can do cart list contain, sorry, cart list container. I will go back here and I will add here. I just want to reconfirm that this is the only place I have used this variable. Okay. So let's see if this is working. Mango, vanilla, I added. Let's go here, and mango and vanilla is coming with remove. So this is how we do it. When you want to, do this ad, and what are the items you need to purchase, and when you want to hide and show, and these things. So this is how you do it. The UI is not good, obviously, because of the CSS we haven't implemented, so you don't need to worry about it. Now the next thing what we want to do is two things. Obviously, total count we want to add, and this when we are clicking on the remove, this particular item should get deleted. So these are the things. Any questions so far? Because we reached to a very good level as of now. No question? Okay. Okay, so now let's moving ahead. Now let's see that what should be the next thing we should take care. Product listing is done, add to cart is done, disable item is also done, cart link redirection is also done, remove item and total cost. So let's see these first now. So how we can get the value of the total cost. So whatever the items we are adding, how we can get the total cost of that. So the simplest way of doing it is you already getting here. Yep. This is the one, redirection. Yep. You are already getting the items and their price. Yeah, Navneet, I will share the code after the session in GitHub. I will do that. So what we can do is, whenever loop is happening, to create this HTML, we can also start adding our this items, and we can just put that value, take that value and put it back in our HTML. This is the one of the easiest way we can do it. So let's do one thing. Let's create a program. Let's create a function, and we will see. We will write it total cost. Calculate total cost. Okay. So in that, what we are going to do is, we will say that initially our total cost will remain 0. Now this particular array, we can loop over it. So for let I equals to 0, I is less than this length, I plus plus, and we will have total cost. It should be equal to this I point price. We want the price of this plus. So this is how it should be. Sorry. So what it will do is, in the first time loop, this is 0 and 100 is the price, so it will become 100. Total cost become 100. Then in second loop, 100 would be here, and for example, the second cost is 50, then it will become 150. This is how it is. We can also write the short form of this, which is 1 plus this. So this is, you can also do it. Now the next thing what we want to do is, we want to put it back in our HTML. But before that, let's see if this is working fine or not. If there is any error, we will fix it. Now, when this particular function should run? This particular function should run when we are redirecting to the detail page, and once our whole HTML is ready. So basically after this. The reason why, again, the same importance, if I will call this function, for example, here, this will give us the error, because not error, I would say, no, error will not come, sorry, in this case. The reason is purchase items is already there. So there would be no error, but I'm doing step by step. So let's do this, delete 100, 200, so 300 should be the total. Okay, so this is giving me a very stupid value. The reason is, it is not doing addition, it is doing string concatenation. Now, the important thing here is, whenever you are getting the data from any third party API or anywhere, you need to do the check of data type. So in JavaScript, I told you that we do not include the data type, like it will be string, it will be number. So we need to take care of that. And these are also the edge cases. So here what is happening, it is, instead of doing addition, it is doing the concatenation. So it is adding 0, 100, 200, making it. So what we can do is, the shortest way to fix it is, I can just convert this to parse it like this. So what it will do is, it will just change the value, the string value which are coming, it will change those to integers. Let's see if this is working. So 300 is coming. Okay, let's do one more test. Refresh. And let's do 150, 100, 250, 250 plus 200, 450. 450. Yep, it's working fine. So now the same thing, we need to put it back in our HTML. So we will do the same thing. We will put, I don't know where is our, here is our total count. Okay, now one more thing. So like I always get confused that, should I just, wrap this in a, like this stand, like we did it on the card thing, like this, and then I just only swap this value? Or should I do one thing that instead of doing this, let me put just ID here or put it back and swap the whole value? So what you should do, if you have an application which could get changed into different languages, like from English to French, Japanese, or anything, do not try to move your content to your JavaScript file. The reason is, when your user or when your content person want to change this total count from English to Chinese, they will go back to JavaScript and they will touch. And I don't think so any developer would like that a non-technical person, a non-JavaScript person should go and do such changes. First thing. Second thing is, yes, you can make a configuration file, and in that configuration file, you can put all your content which might get used in your JavaScript, and then you can handle it. That is also possible. But initially, when you are starting, avoid moving your content to your JavaScript. This is only a matter of adding a tag. So please do that. Don't be lazy. Just do that. So these kind of decisions also impact your JavaScript code with respect to the how much attention you have given to the maintainability of the code and scalability also. So when we say maintainability and scalability, we only talk about number of user or performance and all that. But one of the criteria is this also. So this is my total total price, total price. This is also wrong, this is total price. And though this particular thing is already hard coded here, but what I will do is, instead of putting that in the global scope, I will just call this here. And I did it wrong function. Let me do it here. Sorry, my bad. And this is const. And then what I can do is, for inner HTML equals to this. Okay, let's go back. Let's refresh. Add. This is 100, 200, 300. Let's go here. Total price 300. So this is working. Okay. Now let's take a step back, just to understand that whatever we have learned and wherever you can do the optimization of code. The first thing is, first foremost thing is, we are not following any pattern. We are just writing functions, which is also good. There is no harm. I have seen people, what they do is they just write one function and within that they start writing all code. Don't do it. Break your whole code into small functions like I did it. I can still go ahead and break it into more smaller functions. So every function of yours should do only one task. First thing to remember. Now, second thing is, I told you reusability. This particular code is getting repeated here also. So we need to optimize it. How we can optimize it, I'm going to tell you in the next 5 minutes. But you need to go back and look where you can do the optimization. Okay. While coding, I also realized that we are doing this a lot. Like, we are passing an element and we are changing the inner HTML. So like, see, 1, 2, 3 places and 4. So can I optimize it? Can I make it in a function and where I can just pass one element and whatever the HTML I want. So these kind of things you need to start thinking. There is no session, there is no course, there is no book which can help you to understand these things. These things you need to question by yourself. How you can question? By doing a lot of codes. So you need to spend time in doing coding. If things are not working fine, it's fine. Just go ahead and start, debugging. Stack Overflow and all. Okay, so now one more thing I wanted to show you here and I forgot, I'm sorry. Okay, okay, sorry. I recalled that what I wanted to tell you. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are doing the total cost thing. We did this price thing. Now again, one more thing. I am doing the loop here also. I am getting the item here. No, we cannot do it here, which is fine. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Yeah, I think we don't need to do anything else here. One more thing we can do here is instead of doing parseInt here, what we can do is when the value is coming, we can check if it's not a number, we can, if it's a string, we can change it. You can check the data type. Okay, this is what I wanted to tell you. So if you want that which kind of data type that particular value is, you will use type of and you will just pass that value. So I added, I went here, see string. So this is the data type coming. There would be many such, means there would be like lot of such scenarios where you don't know what kind of data type is coming. And then according to the data type, you want to do some action. This is also a beautiful way to handle the edge cases. What I could have done, which is not a valid edge case here, but if they are, if let's assume that the numbers are coming already, and what I could have done is I will check if it's not the type of string, if it's the type of number, only then this particular code should run. So these kind of scenarios you can also handle. Okay, let's go back and let's see what we have done so far. This is done, this is done, this is done. Total cost is done. And let's see remove item. Okay, the next thing is remove item. Just give me 1 minute break. I need water. Okay, so now we want to remove the item. So this is an array, and what we can do is when I'm clicking on this particular remove button, that particular item should get removed from that particular array, and yep, this should happen, and that particular array should either get refreshed and put the data back here. So this is how it should be. So the first thing I need to do is when I'm clicking remove, that particular item from the array should get deleted. So let's see how we can do this particular thing of removing the item. So let's go back and let's write remove item. Again, if you will see, again I am writing one more event for handling my event. Again, I want to push on the same concept that when we are doing so much event handling, instead of putting event on the element by putting ID, we should use the window concept where we can delegate and check every particular element. Let's move ahead. So I will just do the copy paste of this particular code. Instead of add, we are doing just remove. Let me just copy this, come here, and I'm not sure if I need this or not. So let me just, no, I don't need loop for sure. So I will just remove this, and I'm not, I don't need this. I just need this and button, remove button, and remove button. Where is our HTML? So if you will see there, here is my remove, and I can put my ID here. Remove button. One more thing, when we were adding, we we did the button thing. Okay, we can do the same thing here also. Sorry, my bad. Move button. So actually, I needed that code. Damn, I do this right. Is less than remove button dot length I plus plus. Okay, so remove button. When I'm clicking event.prevent default, and it should console me remove. I didn't call that function, sorry. When should I call this function? I should call this function when my this card detail page is ready. Yes, here. Add this remove. Okay, so this is happening. My event is working fine. One more thing is when I'm removing, I also need to update this total price as well as this cart also. So the first thing I will do is, so there are three things we need to do is removing this particular element, reducing this cost, and updating this cart. So these are the three things we need to do. So when I'm doing remove item, with this, I can also do calculate, not calculate cost, update cart. Here's my update cart. Here's this particular function. Here it is. Just give me 5 minutes, I will be back. Yeah, I'm back. Navneet is asking, it's already 9 p.m. It will take at least 30 minutes, to do these functionalities, and then after that, doing the pattern, JavaScript pattern thing and optimization. Yash, could you please
Yeah.
let me know. Navneet is asking for a break. They are saying they are getting late for the dinner.
Right. So Navneet, I actually it will be, this is the last part of this learning jam. So we'll continue, and yeah, if you miss any part, you can check the recording later.
Yeah, that's also makes sense. So everything is getting recorded, so you don't need to worry. If you are getting late for the dinner, you can log off and later on check the recording. Okay, so let's move ahead. So when I'm clicking, the first thing I want to do is update my cart. That now I'm clicking, so it should get reduced. So instead of 2, it should become 1. So how we can do that? Because if you will see here, I'm doing plus plus count. If I'm going to call this function again, which means that this is not going to reduce. It is not going to decrement the value. It is only going to increase the value. So how we can handle this situation? So one way is create another function for that, which I would say I will avoid as of now. The second is we can use a flag. So what is flag? Basically, I will just show you that approach. So let state, as of now it is false. Now what I will do is I will go to my update cart and I will say if state, if state is there, then increment, else decrement, and instead of doing this, I will just put it like this. Now, as of now, state is false. So if state is false, actually I put it wrong. If state is false, then it should do this, and otherwise it should do this. Now when I'm removing, when I'm doing this, here what I will do is I will change the state to true. Okay. And let me also do this thing. Yeah. Okay. Now what is happening, it will, as of now the state is false when the page is getting load. So it will state is false, then it will do increment, otherwise it will do the minus when I'm changing it to the true. Let's see if this is working. Add, this is working. When I remove, this is not working. And let's see why it is not working. I'm pretty sure I did a mistake. Cart count. Here is the cart count. Oh, I'm not maintaining the value of it. That's why it is happening. So basically, the cart count which I'm taking, that is, I think, getting reset every time. That is why it is not happening. So let's see if I'm able to maintain it or not. Also, I want to check my state. What is the state value? So that is also one to check. So add false, false, false. Okay, fine. When, let me delete this. Now let me remove. Nothing is happening. It is not going there. If something is wrong here. Okay, I think this is the problem. I did the opposite thing. Sorry, my bad. This should work now. This is going wrong way now. If it is false, take it. If state is true, then it should. Okay, wait. If state is there, then it should do. I think this is what I was doing earlier also. So this is how I get confused a lot when I'm playing with the states, like flag, sorry. No, this is not going inside. Anyhow, so the bottom line here is these are the flags which you can use, which I'm not going to use. I have another approach to handle this scenario. But as of now, I wanted to show you that when we say flags, a lot of developers you will see using this lingo that, okay, use flags. So this is how you use it. You just make a variable and put it into Boolean value. And on the basis of that Boolean value, you change everything. So as of now, we don't need this. So let me just do control Z. We are going to do some other approach. So just remove everything from here. So what we are going to do is, when I'm calling this update card, now this is the third way of doing things, and which would be the most, I would say, preferred. So whenever I'm calling my update card from here, so what I can do is, I can say here also that, you know what you should do, you should just increase from here, cart counter, whatever the variable was that, let me check. So instead of doing this thing here, what I can do is, I can just say that increment from here. And when I'm calling it from here, I can say decrement from here. And the one change which will happen now is the card count thing. So now it will just take this card count here and it will display here. So this is what it will happen. Let me see where I have, okay, yeah. Let's see if this is working or not. 1, 2, addition thing is working. Let's go to this and let's see if remove is working. So this is working. So the only change what I did was that instead of creating one new function, what I did is I just used argument. So this is what we are doing. We are passing the arguments in this particular function. So when I am calling it from the add, I am doing plus plus, and when I am calling from remove, I am doing minus minus. Again, the same thing to achieve a particular task. There are different ways to do a same task. So it depends upon you that when you are writing the code at first time, which approach is coming to your mind, and according to that, you can take the future plan. I generally first play with the function arguments. If that is not working, then I go for the flags thing. Okay. Okay. So your cart is done. Now the next thing is price. Now we want to reduce the price also. So let's see how we can do the price thing also. That how to reduce the update the price also. Let's see. Here is our remove item. What we can do is, instead of looking at the cost, first we can remove that particular item from the purchase item. So what we are going to do, we are going to delete the item from the purchase item, and then according to that, our price should get updated. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so yeah. So now how we can delete the item from an array, because for us purchase item is an array. So let's do one thing. Let's see when we are clicking on the remove button, we are getting our array or not, just to be confirmed. For obvious cases, we must be having. So remove array is here. I clicked, I want this particular first item should get deleted. So how we can delete it? To delete item from an array, there is splice in splice JavaScript. This is one of the way which you need to understand, because splice and slice, there are two things. So there is splice and there is slice. For me, it's always very confusing. I hope for you guys it won't be, but for me it is always very confusing. So I have to go back and check it again and again, that what they do. So what it does is, if you will see, it will add or remove the item, and this will change the original array, which means when I'm clicking on mango and I'm using splice function to remove it, the purchase item, which is my original array, will get changed. Otherwise, in slice, this doesn't happen. So if I will show you the slice definition, slice will say the original array will not change, which means that when I'm doing the mango item deletion, the purchase item will still have the mango item in that. So these are the two small difference, but every time I forget. But I know when I want to delete an item, I either need to use splice or slice. So what I do is I just go and check, do I want my original array to be changed? Yes, then I will use splice. If not, then I will use slice. Okay. So now let's go back and see how splice work. What is the syntax of this? So let me go to splice here. So it is saying it's need an index, how many items and which all items. Okay. If you will see how many optional, the number of items to be removed. If set to 0, no items will be removed. So we might need to give that how many items we want to remove. and at one time we just want one item to get deleted. Okay. So now one more thing here is it is asking for index. So in our case, we haven't used our index anywhere. So when you are using map, like this key, you can actually do have this key thing. You can add 0, 1, 2, 3 in a sequence. So what I will do now is I will add this key thing here, which will help me to get this index. And the same thing, sorry, should be space. Here, and where I'm pushing my, yeah. Okay. So now what I will do is I will go here, and from my purchase item, I will say from my purchase item, I will use splice, and I will say that use e.target dot get attribute, because I want the index. Which attribute I want to use? I want data key. And now how many elements I want to delete? I just want to delete one item. So this is, it should do the work. And I will console after this. Now in refresh, go add, go to cart and remove. So if you will see, yep, mango is gone and vanilla is here. So this work, we deleted our element from an array. But if you will see, our interface is not getting updated. Why it is not getting updated? The reason is because the array got changed, array got updated, but we haven't called our function to take this particular array and again create the UI. So we need to go to see. This is our function, which is creating our card detail page. Now the problem comes here. So this is how you understand that where you need to modify your code, or your code is having scaling issue. Now I want to reuse this function. But now the problem is this function is coming in this redirection and a lot of thing is happening. So if you will see what kind of thing is happening, I need to click when this thing is happening, basically at the redirection time. So what I will do is first I will show you the most easiest way. Cart detail list, sorry, create cart detail list. I'm just showing you the most easiest way first, and then we will change it to the actual way of working. This should have, this should remove from here. This should go here. This will come here now. Okay. Now what I did, I only plug out that whole function of creating the cart detail HTML page. I plugged out all the logic of creating the cart detail UI to a reusable function. Now what I will do is I will just go here where I was doing this thing, and I will pass my purchased items here. Now, okay, I want to first check if without passing arguments it will work or not. First, I want to check that because purchase items is already there. So let's go back. Let's add vanilla. Let's add kiwi. Let's go there. Let's remove kiwi. The kiwi, okay, the problem happened is it didn't remove kiwi, but it removed the first element altogether. Okay, so let's do one thing: mango, vanilla, cart. If I will remove mango, mango is getting, vanilla is also getting. So what happened there? I think I know what happened. So if I will remove apple, yeah. So what is happening? There is a small bug, but rest of the thing is working. Your array, your interface is getting updated. which is fine. Your total cost is also getting updated if you will see. So I have added vanilla 200, kiwi 150. I go back and I will right now the total price is 350. If I will remove vanilla, 150. So this is also working. The bug which is coming, that bug is coming because of the issue with the index. So let's see if we will able to identify the issue. Data key is undefined. That is why this issue is coming, because the key is not coming correctly. And that is why it is doing the random changes altogether. Okay, I know why this is happening. This is happening because in the item there is no key. The keys I am taking from the map. That is why it is happening. Let's see, it should work now. Okay, now let's let's refresh it and add, go back, delete apple, delete kiwi, delete vanilla, total price 0. So this is working. Okay. Okay, so let's go back. What we have done so far, we are able to achieve all this. Now the last step which is left is redirection to other pages. So now what all you need to do is, which is your actually homework, and I really want you to take through it. Once this is done, you reach here. I already show how to do redirection. It's all about just adding none class and removing the none class. So all you need to do is when I click on address, this block should get hide and the address block should get visible. And when I do back, the same thing should happen, that address block should get hidden, card detail page should be visible, and again same till we go back to the home page. So this is one of your homework I want you to do. Okay. Now let's go back and let's look into the optimization thing, what we can do. Let me just move all these things here. Okay, I don't need as of now this thing, so I just removed it. The first thing is this particular thing is reusable. It could be reusable because I am already twice using it here and here. The only change I am doing is this remove text. So what I can do is again everything actually go back to the event handling thing, that instead of adding events to every element, I can do a event handling concept. So what I will do is I will do const event handler equals to this. Now window dot add event listener. I am doing click. On the click, I want to do is if e.target dot local name equals to a, then do something. Else if equals to button. Now let's talk about button first. So what I will do is the HTML is also same. Let me see what we can do. Okay, what we can do is, so this add button is always there, but when the remove will come, when I will click here. So what I can do is, I will check that when I'm clicking on here, at that time, I should able to change my text. I will explain you what I'm trying to say. So what I can do is cart detail. First I will check is cart detail is there. No, as of now I am not doing any cart detail. So what I will do is I will do that when I'm going here, I will check is cart is there. Is If not, so let me show you the first the normal way. If card detail is not there, then let me do it here. Okay, let's see if this is working. The only thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to optimize my code. And the only thing which is the difference between these both LIs thing is only the content, add and remove. So I'm just saying, thinking that how can I change it? I will show you. So this is not taking. Okay. This card detail. Okay, so this is coming if this is false. Now, when I'm clicking on the cart detail page here, basically, so what I can do is cart detail equals to true. So if it is true, then it should add here remove. Let's see if this is happening. Add. Okay, what happened? Something broke. Something is broke. Button name is not defined. Oh yes, button name is not defined. My bad. This should be removed from here and it should go here actually. Still taking add. Why it is not going here? If I don't want to do it this way, but let's see. Oh, I'm not. This card detail equals to false. If this is false, then this. Else it should do remove. It should go here. No, it is not going here. What is seen? No, I don't need any such thing.
Ma'am, that button name spelling is wrong. BTN.
BTN. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Add. No, it's still taking that thing. I'm not sure why it is not working. Let me. Today this fact thing is still taking add. Here. Oh, okay. I think I know why it is happening because I haven't put this thing here. I think this is why it is happening. I assume this is why it is happening. Let me see if this is the reason. Yeah, this was the reason. Okay, so just to rectify this, so basically what happened is this button name was not getting updated because the logic was in this particular function. Here I was writing. So now the next thing what I can do is, now when I am done with this thing, that this button name should get updated here, I can take this particular function from here, create part detail list where I'm calling this. So I can change it here. Let me first comment it. Let me play save first. Okay. Now only this array is getting changed, right? Sorry. This array. So what I will do is I will pass this array here.
Do not stress yourself if you are not able to understand. All I'm trying to do is optimize the functions. That's it. So once it is done, I will explain you everything that what I was trying to do. In which case I'm calling this function. Now I don't need this. Okay, let's see if I'm able to get my. So what I did is I just two things I did. I'm trying to make this function generic as much as it is possible. So first thing what I'm doing is I'm trying to create my HTML on the base by changing the add and remove. Now my remove this should get created. It is not getting created. I think it will take time for me to optimize it. Let me undo everything. So I can explain you the approach I'm taking so that at least you can try by your end. Let me just undo everything. I think this was it. Yeah. Okay. So what I was trying to do is, when I am going to call this particular function, create HTML. So create HTML will take an array. It doesn't matter that array is coming at the load time or when I'm adding the items at the purchasing time. So it will take the array that would be a generic variable and it will loop. Now to change this particular value, I already showed you that I'm just checking up with a flag name that if you have clicked on this card, it means that you reach to the card detail page. So now you can swap the value to remove. The second thing to make it more generic is when I am clicking on the remove button, at that time also I can do. Button name is not defined, from where it is coming. So these are the few places where you can do the optimization. Yeah. Okay. So overall it is done. The only thing I would request you to do is just please do the redirection thing. Why you should do it? The reason of doing it is when you do the redirection thing, you will play with the attribute value of method of JavaScript and you will understand how the DOM and JavaScript interaction happen. What I will do is I will optimize this code and I will put it everything. I will put this as it is on the GitHub and as well as I will put the optimized version also on the GitHub so that you can compare that what changes I have made. Okay. So I think we have done almost everything. Only this functionality is left, which I want you to do it, and the rest is already done. So this is about today's session. Thank you everyone who stayed till now. If you have any question, please let me know. I am open for taking that.
Thank you, Neha. That was really great, and thank you for going into detail of everything. Yeah, there is one question from Ashish.
Ashish, so why we use map? You could use loop there also. There is no such thing as of now in this particular case. But I wanted to show you that how you can use map because first of all, this is a ES6 thing. If you have seen, I also use the loop. So map is a new way of doing the loop on the arrays and also it always return you the new array. So if you have seen, I have used the return here. So and I put all the whatever the data is getting returned from here in this. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I thought I was showing you on the screen. So yeah. So if you have seen, whenever you use the array, you return something. and whatever you are returning, you are storing it into a new variable, and always a new array get in return. So this is the benefit of using map in this case. Otherwise, I could have used loop also, for loop also, that will also work. But if you want to understand why to use map in general way, the reason is, first of all, ES6 obviously, and yep, I would say I would give the preference to the ES6 syntax first of all. Yep. Yeah, Navneet, I will share the code in GitHub. E.target is very important. E means event, what event you are doing, and E.target means when you are clicking or when you are hovering. So on whichever element presently you are doing any action, E.target give you that particular element value. So in our case, if you have seen, when I'm clicking on the buttons like ice cream, vanilla, mango, kiwi. So how would I get to know that on which element I am clicking? By using E.target, that information is clicking, that at present you are clicking on this particular element. Navneet, this is my way of doing the coding. It doesn't, the dollar thing is not at all related to JavaScript. So what only thing I did is I cached the document to the dollar. Otherwise, what I have to do, every time I have to write like this: document.getElement by ID, document.getElement by classes name. So I don't want to write document again and again. That's why I just cache that particular value to dollar variable. That's it. So for you, it is not important to do this step. You can skip. You can write document.getElement by ID. Pranav, if my goal is to learn Pranav, if you want to learn React, you should know Java. So whatever we have done today, first of all, you should be very comfortable in doing that. And after that, you should also understand how the asynchronous code works. When I say asynchronous, as of now, this is coming from here, and I'm just looping. This data is coming. I put it on the page, and I'm just looping. But what you should do is you should know that if this data is coming from some API, how can I use fetch or how can I use Axios to get that data? So what would be the syntax? So if you want to go back and try that, the only thing you need to change is you need to just use the fetch HTML5 API, and instead of running it like this, you need a server to run. So basically a local host to run. So that is very simple to learn. So whatever we have learned today, plus how to work with asynchronous data, you should know, and then you will be comfortable with React.
So yeah, I think that is it. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for staying till the end. How's the Josh? Great. Yeah. Thank you, Ritika. Thank you, Preetham. Right. So everyone who is listening to this on YouTube, thank you for joining us, and we hope you will continue learning. And please join us for the upcoming learning jams as well, as and when they come out. You can get information about them on Progate social media channels, LinkedIn, and there is also a calendar link, so you can check your email. There might be a link with which you can add all the events to your calendar. Yeah, so everyone who is on YouTube, thank